So is it better to be lucky than good? Most professional athletes will say, no, I'll take good every time. But good stays with you. Luck comes and goes. How about a little bit of both? The Rangers did not get that this year. We've got the story coming next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, luck versus skill. It's an ever-present question. And again, most of the professionals I've talked to will say, I don't want to just be lucky. I want to be good. Good is controllable. Luck is not. We welcome you to the DLLS Sports Studios. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. John Radigan here. Jeff Wilson there. The Queen Cat is over there. We've already got you in the chat, and we appreciate that very much. We'll chat and talk baseball with you all afternoon, or at least for the next hour. If it's 1 o'clock in the off season, by God, we are on the air.
That's right.
Talking baseball. And it's fun. I hope you're having as much fun at it as we are. The Rangers Rotowire they're a big a fantasy sports guru in the world. But they do this thing called the luck list. Let's look right here. Luck rating. Their luck rating, Jeff.
Luck rating.
All 30 clubs.
Okay.
Guess who was 30th?
I heard the Texas Rangers.
The Texas Rangers. 30th in luck. So that's not good, right? You got to be somewhat more lucky than that. And you know what's interesting about it, too, Jeff, is so many times this season in post-game and in pre-game chats that we had with Boch, I heard him say, we just got a little unlucky. And I don't remember that being a go-to for him in the past necessarily, right? But he did say it a lot. And again, this is a guy who knows the game and knows that however, half the time, whatever, 50-50 there, sometimes that ball falls, sometimes it's hit super hard right at somebody.
Right.
But he did mention that quite often this season, and then this Rotowire, ranking bears it out.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that. Gosh, he was unlucky there. A little little flare that goes over the shortstop's head, and then an infield single, and the next thing you know, the reliever or Jacob deGrom or whoever's in trouble, and leads to a couple runs, and then we had a lot of balls hard at guys.
Yeah,
and I get it, and with the expected statistics that are out there, which is what a lot of these rankings are based on. If you believe in expected batting average or any of those things, then they were unlucky. But I also believe you make your own luck.
Yes, T.O. just said that. We appreciate you, T.O., and it's true. And yet, and I do remember, Jimmy Johnson used to say it. They'd be like, oh, you were lucky you got this guy or that guy in the draft. Jimmy said there's no such thing as luck. Jimmy said there is no luck. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation, right? And so you're prepared for whatever might come your way. And when the opportunity presents itself, you take advantage, and that's not luck. That is preparation. And I don't think it's quite that harsh. Jimmy would give examples. If there's a guy who's working at a car dealership all day and he's there from 9 in the morning till 9 at night, and some of his colleagues are only there from 9 to 6, and the guy sells a car at 8 o'clock, his colleagues might say, you got lucky. That guy walked in at 8. Well, was it luck? I was there at 8, right? So, and I get it. I understand what he's saying. I still think that there is some luck involved. I think of the 2011 Rangers team. that the one that had no and didn't miss one start from
Correct.
the rotation?
Yeah.
I think you have to be somewhat lucky to have guys stay healthy for an entire 6-month season plus the postseason.
Well, and even at your point, the one time that a starter didn't start, it was a spot start, I believe by Dave Bush, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
Matt Harrison was dealing with a kidney stone.
Yeah.
Which is terrible luck.
Yep.
But, it cleared out when, he went down the drain.
Whatever it does. Yeah.
And he was ready to go. But you're right. I mean, it takes a lot. You have to have, like Fergie was saying, there's efficient innings and things like that to stay healthy, to avoid stressful innings, stressful situations where you might try to do too much or anything, something like that would tax your body a little bit more. But I do, the thing about, and this bugged me with shifts. Shifts are based on probability.
Yes.
This is the probability. This is where he's going to hit the ball. Let's say 67% of the time. Well, there's a 33% chance that it's going to not go there. So is that bad luck? Did a hitter intentionally say, I'm going to hit it the other way? Like it seemed like Nate Lowe used to be able to.
Yes.
So is that bad luck, or is that for the defensive team, or is that just good hitting?
Good preparation.
I mean, whatever it is, I've never really bought into it. It feels like an excuse.
Yeah, and I will say this. You're speaking Mark McLemore's language because, of course, I was working with him on the Fox and Bally set when shifts were the rage, and he was like, all you have to do as a pitcher is make sure you hit the spot where the ball is supposed to be, and they will hit into the shift. All you have to do as a hitter is, if he makes one mistake and doesn't pitch it exactly where it needs to be, hit it the other way, right? So he definitely agreed with you that this isn't luck; it's controllable. You can control this situation.
Yeah, and that was always bring up Joey Gallo, and that was God, they have 4 guys in the outfield, and they only have 3 infielders, and they're all on the right side. It's like
all he has to do,
put down a bunt or just swing late, or whatever. And the argument against that was, if Joey does that, then he's giving the defense what they want. They're trying to take away his strength, which is a home run. But if you start getting on base and then good things happen behind you, then it becomes a strength. They're like, okay, well, he's willing to do that and beat us that way. We got to change. But the game is better without the shifts, I think.
Yes, me too.
I'm sure Corey Seager would agree.
Yeah, all people,
but yes, there are instances, and there are other stats too that feed into the luck notion. And you're fielding independent pitching. Is it better or worse in your ERA? Oh well, you've been lucky. What if it's just good defense,
right?
Or bad defense,
right?
So if it's bad defense, is that bad luck? Probably, but what if it's great defense? These guys are doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Oh, you're lucky? No, your team can play defense.
Yeah, it's preparation. The Rangers were 21-29 in one-run games this year. That's 5th worst in Major League Baseball. And when you figure, the Pirates and the Nationals and the Rockies and the White Sox are there, there's the other 4 probably. I don't know for sure, but could well be. And so our one-run games luck. Somebody said earlier in the chat already, I need to get a bona fide closer, and that's true too. I mean, maybe those one-run games, Jeff, that record would be over 500 perhaps or better if there was a closer for so many of those instances when late overtaxed bullpen imploded.
Yeah, I tend to think though that. If you're going to look at this Rangers team this season, their offense was bad, and that's why they weren't unlucky. They weren't unlucky to the point that it cost them 8 victories or whatever 10 victories. Offense was bad.
Yeah,
and when you have 8 batters whose OPS is below league average, it's something wrong with the player, not the luck. Maybe a guy could say, well, has a legitimate case on the expected batted average thing, whatever. But not 8 of them, not 9 of them. It didn't happen to all 9 guys. There was just bad play, bad offense.
Yeah.
And the pitchers, yes, could have been unlucky, but it was because they weren't getting any run support. There's no margin for error. So you could have had, I don't know, Mariano Rivera pitching. He's going to blow some saves because he's going in there every night with a 1-run lead and can't make a mistake.
And I hate it when we mix, it's okay. There's a lot of arithmetic in baseball, right? Because you have to add numbers and, averages and ERAs and all that. But when we mix things like the Pythagorean theorem in, I'm never a huge fan. But it says here that their Pythagorean record, they underperformed their Pythagorean record by 9 games. Now, as before, so there's the 9 games that you mentioned. But before we do, I thought the Pythagorean theorem was the thing about the right triangle, isn't it?
Jesus, I don't know. I didn't do good in geometry.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how the hell that relates. Sorry, Kat. I don't know how the heck that relates to.
Hell's okay. Hell's got to be okay. If we can't get hell in,
okay, we can drop an occasional hell.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, they missed that, and then ESPN's relative power index indicates they were 10 games below their expected record. Now, neither one of those. Well, I don't know about the Pythagorean thing, but I don't think either one of those are necessarily luck. I think they go right back to what you're saying. Underperformance is one of the key words in that first sentence about the Pythagorean thing.
Okay, Pythagorean winning percentage is a formula developed by renowned statistician Bill James. Concept strives to determine the number of games that a team should have won based on its total number of runs scored versus its runs allowed, in an effort to better forecast that team's future outlook. The initial formula is as follows: runs scored times 2 divided by runs scored times 2 plus runs scored times 2.
Oh yeah, that clears it up.
Well, I think then we can base this on the Rangers' pitching was really, really good throughout the whole year.
Yeah,
and their offense stunk for at least the first 2 to 3 months.
Yes,
like really awful.
Yes,
offense.
like historically.
So I think that's where that can come in, because the Rangers did finish on the positive side in run differential.
Yeah, 79.
Yeah,
79 more.
It was one of the bigger numbers in the American League. And so, okay, that all makes sense. But then if you parse the season even into bits and pieces, I guess the bad luck suggests that from opening day to the last day of the season, boy, these guys just had the worst luck.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way.
No.
So anyway, but it's fun to talk about.
It is. It's fun, and it gets you thinking. And look, I really do believe there is a certain amount of luck involved maybe in baseball more than any other sport. And we're going to talk lots more about the World Series coming up. But I think you see it in some of the stories that are developing in the World Series with some of these young guys that are just going crazy. I mean, right place, right time, certain amount of luck. If that guy hadn't gotten hurt, I might not be here. All those kinds of things factor into it. Now, once again, given an opportunity, you've got to be prepared enough to take advantage of it. And again, I don't want to say, for example, and I brought him up yesterday, I don't want to say that Evan Carter was lucky by any means in 2023.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been that since either.
Right.
So, there was something, maybe otherworldly working with Evan Carter in 2023. He was definitely playing, obviously, above his experience level,
right,
and way above his pay grade.
Well, I think there was, I don't think that there's the volume of information that on minor league players that there is on major league players. So when they get to the major leagues, there's an opportunity for them to have success because teams are still trying to figure out how to pitch to these guys. And as the season went along, as the postseason went along, his numbers did start to dip. And I thought that by the World Series, the Diamondbacks did a pretty good job on how to pitch them.
Yeah.
And I thought it was noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's why you have to adjust back, right? And that's the saying, they adjust to you, you got to adjust back, you got to learn how to do this. And the more pitches you see and more experience you have in slumps and everything, the shorter the slumps get.
Yeah.
So I think there's some of that too. Teams are allowed to improve and try to figure out new ways to get you out.
Yeah, of course. And of course, back to Mark McLemore again, he said that adjustment thing, he was a 19-year player, by the way. He said it's through your whole career.
Yeah.
They adjust, you adjust. They adjust, you adjust. And just do that, in perpetuity for as long as you're playing. So anyway, that's our discussion about luck. Let's talk about the future of your Texas Rangers. It's bright, but maybe not immediately so. Well, maybe it is. Let's talk about it all next. The DLLS Rangers podcast. Oh, my goodness. We've got a brand new partner called Qualis Roofing. And I will tell you this. I wished I'd known about Qualis at the time that I had to do roofs at my wife and I's small business, because we were part of that big, huge hailstorm in Waxahachie, all over Ellis County this spring, March. And I had to have 5 roofs replaced at the business. And the thing about Qualis Roofing, in addition to just having great service and great people and great quality, Qualis Roofing also does commercial and residential, which is what I needed and ultimately did okay. But Qualis is based right here in North Texas. They're not some storm chasing group. That's the other thing I hated when I was doing the roof. Every roofer was coming by. Come on. And then if we didn't have a sign out there, put a sign out there. But anyway, Qualis Roofing is the place to go. Call or go online to schedule a roof inspection. And if you do, you get a free DLLS T-shirt.
Woo!
Qualis Roofing. That's Qualis. Go to Qualis Roofing and Construction.
Hey, we got us another new one. Bam! PNC Bank. This is fantastic. They're big with the stars there, as you can see on the screen. But long-term growth takes patience and commitment, something that banking and hockey hair have in common. Well, all right. PNC Bank recognizes the value of long-term growth, too. It's time to see how good long-term growth looks on you. Holy cow, are we, as Wilson's, looking long-term here, because kids, they're going to go to college. And last I heard, it's not free. So scholarships, please, but also maybe some help from our friends at PNC Bank.
Sure.
So pick up your free Dallas Stars hockey hair hat pregame at PNC Plaza. Compliments of PNC Bank, November 4th and November 6th. That's next week at PNC's pop-up Main Street branch. No purchase necessary, 1 per person while supplies last.
Speaking of long-term, there might be nothing as long-term as developing, especially if you draft a kid out of high school, right? Developing a player to become a Major League Baseball player. That can be such a long-term process. And it can also go really quickly, depending on the talent level of the player. So the Prospect Times, our friends at the Prospect Times, put out this list of the top 10 Rangers prospects and sort of when we might be able to see these guys, in the big leagues. And when you look at that list, Jeff, Sebastian Walcott, 2026, and Jose Corniel, 2026, and others, we're talking 29 and 30. A.J. Russell, by the way, I think has had the one of the fastest pitches in the Arizona Fall League. He's ranked as one of the better fastball pitchers. But again, he's not around till 2028. I mean, it takes a long time to develop.
It does. I would think it was either Teodos or Santos on the fastball thing. I don't think Russell is in the AFL. I might be wrong.
Okay.
But anyway, Russell was from the draft this year. He had pitched in college and was coming back from Tommy John this year, so his innings were limited. But that list, yeah, the Rangers are heavy at the lower levels on talent. The top, you saw the top prospects as Walcott, who people are like, oh, get him in the majors immediately. Maybe next year. then Gavin Feen was the 12th overall pick in the draft, and down there at number 10 was our Alorki Rodriguez, who was the big signee from the international class in January. So yeah, he was 17 this season.
Yeah,
so he's not very close. The keys on that list, if you ask me, are Santos and Corniel. You gotta hit on those cats, right? I mean, they need to be able to produce, help you out in some way this season. They don't need to make the rotation necessarily. Corniel made his debut on the last day of the season, and it was half good and half really, really bad. But they brought him up because they expect him to be in the mix this year and to contribute. So him, and then you saw Alejandro Rosario, who still nobody knows about the elbow situation. Yeah. He was supposed to have Tommy John surgery, and I don't know.
And that's the thing.
And the Rangers haven't said anything.
No, and the longer you delay the surgery, even if it's the internal brace, right? The longer you delay it, the longer and so maybe, I mean, elbow ligaments don't heal themselves. But
well, my theory on that, stem cell.
Oh,
that's my theory. That's my theory. I don't know if it's true.
Revolutionary processes here.
I think they might have sought alternative treatment, but I don't know that for sure.
No, and
that is strictly a theory of mine, based on that quarterback show. When Kirk Cousins went to Costa Rica after he tore his Achilles to get some stem cell, because it's not legal here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, that show is unbelievable. When you see what those quarterbacks go through on a weekly basis, they edit it pretty well too. Make it look like they get hit more often than they do. But when they do get hit, they get hit.
It is not every play.
No, no, that's right. They make it look like it is. So anyway, yeah, that's probably a good thought. And is Rosario's a Miami kid though, right? He's not from outside the country.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. Yeah. 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 That's fine. But yeah. Really is. Yeah. There goes the microphone for Jeff. But yeah, we're all
doing good. Thank you.
He's back. Yeah. Hey, and as Kat told us before the show, we are honorary production assistants.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll haul off and plug a microphone in on you, or we'll move some tables on you if need be. Kat's busy. She's the queen around here. So, you think a queen doesn't keep pretty busy. She does. But we're not. It's not beneath us to move some tables around or plug a microphone cable in, Jeff.
That's right. We're men.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are indeed. Look at that. Rarities. Jeff is mute. Aw, don't call him mute. Yeah. So anyway, these prospects, they just take so long to develop. And of course, some of them never do.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I saw a troubling report about Malcolm Moore's process or progress in the Arizona Fall League this year. And he started off pretty good, and he's really faded. And there was speculation that maybe he's just going to have to, take the off season and he obviously had the injury, the broken finger.
Yep.
This earlier this year. And so maybe, he's just going to have to take the off season and regroup, and then I don't want to say start from scratch, but start fresh in spring training.
Yeah. And they might be working on things with him right now. I mean, this is, he's trying to get reps. Okay. I get that, but maybe try out some swing things. And if you've looked at the Rangers stats, pitching stats, the guys who are down there pitching, a lot of walks, like uncharacteristically high amount of walks especially for Santos and for Corniel. So it's like, man, are they working on a new pitch? Are they doing a delivery tweak? Something like that. So I do wonder, and it's you want to win the games and compete and all that because it's against the best minor league talent out there. But also, it's kind of like spring training.
Yeah.
Ultimately, these games don't count, you
Right.
know, and this is a good time to experiment and get things where they need to be for the upcoming season.
Yeah, no doubt. Everybody who takes the field wants to win, and these are in the fall league. It's a conglomeration of players from different teams, but everybody there knows that anybody, and probably everybody there, is working on something. I mean, that's why they're there.
Yeah,
so winning, it's kind of like minor league baseball in general. Winning isn't necessarily the goal. You still want to win, but sometimes it can't be the goal.
Right. Yeah, and you see that a lot. It's like, and especially at the lower levels, you hear, well, I'm just throwing. They tell me to pitch to my strengths, which right now are fastball and slider. Like, oh, okay, but now they want me to try a split, and then you see that come into play, and sometimes it's really effective, but a lot of times there's going to be inconsistency with it. But as and then once you get to even at AA, you're still working on things. The Teodo. Going into 24 was working on another pitch, and it ended up being great there at AA. And then he dealt with injuries and whatever this year at AAA that kind of conspired against him. Probably got his delivery out of whack, and he's probably working on that right now. But again, if you're on the 40-man roster like Corniel, Teodo, and Santos are, you need to be available.
Yeah.
They need to be able to count on you if a starter wakes up one morning vomiting and they need a spot start, and it's your day. Get your butt up to Arlington so you can start this game.
Sure.
And they don't want you to walk 8 in the first inning.
That's never a good start to
it's
a ball
never
game.
a good start.
No. So that
or if you're not pitching well, they're not going to call on you. They're going to do a bullpen.
Right.
Somebody else.
Right. And that, I mean, they were not called on this year. Now, part of that was injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were hurt.
They were hurt.
All of them.
All 3?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And that's why. But Corniel getting called up at the end of the season is one of those things. You like somebody to get just a little taste of it even at the end of the year to kind of see what it's like and what it feels like and how fast the game is up here before maybe they're pressed into more duty next year.
Yeah, and when rosters expand, when you could expand your September roster by up to 40, you could bring guys up and just let them hang around the team. Even if they didn't pitch, they at least saw how things operate in the clubhouse, and they could get to know guys a little bit better who maybe they didn't know in spring training, or maybe they were, a prospect acquired at the deadline, like with Willie Calhoun and the drama that came with that one. But that was part of the strategy. You called these guys up to, learn and absorb and get a feel because it's coming soon. And this year, and well, I guess the last 5 years, with only a couple, one pitcher and one position player available to come up and on the expanded roster, it's a lot different. So to get Corniel up at the end of the year, it was important to the Rangers and important to him for his future. And I think, you'll see a lot of him this year. I think.
Mike Scioscia ruined it for everybody on expanding to 40.
God almighty.
Mike Scioscia he did necessitate a good change where you have to face 3 hitters once you're in a game as a relief pitcher. But Mike Scioscia would change pitchers after every batter.
Oh, it was
especially
awful.
In September.
It was awful.
When he had 40 guys to play with.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, 4-hour games is ridiculous.
Oh, and they were many of them, especially with their teams, meaningless. Yeah. Right? Just meaningless. So.
Kellyman asked, do you think Bochy was reluctant to call on younger pitchers? I don't. I think his hand was forced this year. And they eventually, started using Cole Winn in a tight spot. Jacob Latz is 29, but experience-wise, he's a young major league pitcher. So those are 2 examples. Cody Bradford's young, and Bochy for 23 and 24 used him whenever he was healthy and available. Yep. And so I don't think that's the case. And when it comes to calling guys up from the minor leagues, that's not on the manager, as you guys probably know. That's a decision from the front office and player development of who's earned the next shot. And I know that if people want to go way back, and some of them still do, to 2011 when Ron Washington didn't play Profar and Mike Alt in September, choosing instead to play Michael Young. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Trying to get to the World Series here.
And Mike Alt, through whatever it was, vision issues, his career disintegrated quickly, and Profar dealt with injuries.
Took him a while.
But yeah, I mean, I just think that, and if you want to compare it to Evan Carter, Profar to Evan Carter, top prospects, all that stuff. Evan Carter was called it because of an injury.
Yes.
He replaced Adolis Garcia.
Yeah,
everybody was healthy when Profar was brought up.
Yep.
Anyway, that's my soapbox moment.
Yeah, little soapbox time there, and that's fine. We're going to get to the World Series next. What a game it was last night. Almost over before it started. We talk about it next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Oh, and we want to remind you about Fall Fest at Globe Life Field. Oh my goodness, what a great fall blast we have had the last couple of days with this wonderful weather, and it continues this weekend. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to feel like fall, and what you want to do is get on out to Globe Life Field and take advantage of Fall Fest. It's November 2nd, so that's Sunday?
That's in 3 days.
Yeah, that's Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday. And it's a fan favorite. It's back for a second straight year, which, as Jeff says, that makes it annual.
It's an annual
event, and it's fall-themed activities to enjoy, including face painting. There are trick-or-treat stations. It's only a couple of days after Halloween. You get to run the bases. You have carnival games and so much more, and it's all directly on the field. No one will like that more than your kids who have watched the games either from the stands or on TV, and all of a sudden they get to be on the field. Also, if you wear your best Halloween costume, you might be a part of a fun little costume parade. It happens from 12 to 4 p.m. at Globe Life Field. Don't miss Fall Fest. It's the event of the year for the Texas Rangers. Tickets are on sale now at globelifefield.com/fallfest. That's globelifefield.com/fallfest.
Hey, another new sponsor alert. And it's also kind of fall themed. Window Nation. Hey, so it's October. It's almost November.
Yeah,
a couple of days. And so is the return of chilly air seeping into your home. That is, if you have old, stuck, or cracked windows. At Window Nation, they work on old brick building. The windows are always creaky and drafty. Oh, we work at an old. Oh shoot, I need to read this better. We work at an old brick.
Yeah,
building,
we do.
And the windows are always creaky and drafty. So we could use Window Nation's help to keep this drafty air out, because I don't like the cold. So Window Nation has some of the best replacement windows out there. Their installation crews finish the job in 1 day or less, so you can get back to your life with minimal interruption. And here's why you should trust Window Nation: A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, 50-point inspection on every window before it leaves the factory, 20% inspection on every window when it's installed. And your new windows can be installed 1 day or less. That's always important because time is money. This month, when you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free. Make no payments for 2 years. No monthly payments, no down payment, no interest until 2027. Schedule a fast, free estimate now with the pros at windownation.com.
Yeah, and yesterday I mentioned on the show that I jumped the gun on the shacket because I was sweating out there. Well, then after the show, the skipper discovered and informed me that they had turned the heat on, like full blast in here. Now, Jeff doesn't notice that because he's always chilly.
Always. Because I'm so lean.
I guess that's it. Yeah. So he was not overly warm, but the rest of us were, so I didn't feel quite so bad. World Series Game 5, the winner of Game 5, when the series is tied at 2 games apiece, the winner of Game 5 has won 67% of the time, including 6 of the last 7.
Oh man!
So it's a thing, right? You can obviously take it to the bank now. No, you can't because it's the Dodgers. So, but it was huge, I thought, for the Blue Jays to get that victory last night. And the amazing thing was, we were just so sure that Blake Snell was just going to really shove last night after the way things happened the first time out. And the first 2 hitters come up there and hit home runs. And now Davis Schneider, Jeff, looks like Randall Jordan. Randall Jordan's my mechanic there at Mansfield, okay. Except Randall's got a little bit more grease on his hands. But like, does Davis Schneider look like a Major League Baseball player? He really doesn't.
No. I mean, more than Alejandro Kirk does, though.
Well, good point.
Yeah.
But Davis, he looks like a guy, and I was really shocked to see when the lineups came out, Davis Schneider was in the leadoff spot. And
yeah,
he was, and the world was. And there were people, I saw on Twitter, somebody puts up, Davis Schneider in the leadoff spot, ? And then his sister replied to it, well, I guess it worked out. Yes, it did.
Yeah,
yes, it did. First pitch of the game, and Davis Schneider is at the plate, and this is the perspective of his family, who, by the way, were at their very first World Series game.
Oh, no! No way! No way! No! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my God!
That is the greatest. His dad is holding the phone camera, and that's his mom and his sister. I think 2 sisters are there, and looks like maybe his girlfriend is there as well. Unbelievable reaction, and you can imagine. And I saw one of the LA stations actually caught up with them as a family, and they were just like, "We never." I mean, this is before the game. Gosh, we knew Davis might. He'd make it to the majors, but we never even considered we'd be at a World Series. And, just a nice family that were just so excited to be there. And then on the first pitch of the game against Blake Snell.
Yeah, and then 2 pitches later, Vlad Guerrero, who you expect to do those things, hit a home run. And, and I thought Snell pitched well. The Blue Jays didn't score again for another 3 or 4 innings. He kind of righted the ship. He abandoned his fastball for a little while there, maybe trying to get the feel of that. And then he threw 116 or 117 pitches, left the game, and then the reliever they brought in might as well have been you or me, and it fell apart there. But these Blue Jays, they just make you work, man.
They do.
They just grind you.
They just do what the Blue Jays do. And I agree with you. It's very clear. Yesterday's game, or game 5 was even, game 4 was even more of an example of it, when he didn't want to take, Roberts didn't want to take Shohei out. Like, I can't give this over to the bullpen.
Yeah.
right?
The guy they brought in hadn't pitched since the division series.
Yeah.
Like, God, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What happened to Kirby Yates,
right,
and Taylor Scott,
right,
and all these arms you went out and got, and then Blake Trinan hasn't been very dependable.
Trinan's been bad,
and so
Banda's been bad.
Like, gosh, they don't have a lot, especially with Vessia, who had to leave the team for a family situation that still hasn't come out, and I hope everything's okay there. But that's a pretty big blow to a team that bullpen was already on pretty shaky ground.
Yeah.
So. I hope that that's okay, but the Blue Jays, they'll just take advantage of things, and the Dodgers right now, it's like they have to lean on those starters,
right? And
gosh, it's tough. Now the good thing is, I know Yates and Scott are injured, Misty. My point being, hey, this whole great bullpen, this is what they're left with right now. The good news for them is they have Yamamoto,
right,
who has been fantastic.
Right.
And we'll see what it's like on normal rest. He actually will have an extra day because he off day off day, 3, 4, 5 off days. So he'll have an extra day's rest. But it'll be interesting to see how he does. You know, he's thrown 2 straight complete games.
Right.
And God, the Dodgers could really use a complete game right about now.
Necessary.
Yeah.
But again, the Blue Jays have seen him once now, right? I actually heard Torey Lovello on MLB Today talking about it. You've got to, in his sort of, you know, watching it from TV scouting report, you got to lay off that guy's secondary stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Blue Jays didn't do the first time. But, you know, if Torey Lovello sees it from a distance, I'm pretty sure that John Snyder and his guys have seen it up close. Now, can you do it, right? That's the key. Can you do it as a team? Can you execute the plan? But I think that's going to be the plan. And, you know, can they get to Yamamoto? You know, I think the chances are that they can't, and this thing goes to 7. But who knows? I mean, the Blue Jays have surprised us really, I think, every step of the way. I mean, you know, everybody was, you know, just sure, like, going to be a short series, you know. And
well, and then, you know, they were the top seed in the American League, but you look at their regular season, it's like, man, these guys don't have a great bullpen. They're starting pitchers. You've heard of them, but
they're not
one
great.
of them's hurt, and it's like,
you know, Bieber used to be great,
and then, you know, will the bats hold up in cold weather? You know, these are the best teams. Good pitching beats good offense every day of the week.
Yep.
And I just don't know if that's been the case.
No, agreed. And again, this is that's why, you know, I said it after game 1. We did it on the show. Can the Rangers become the Blue Jays, right? Offensively. That's what I'd love to see. Work pitchers. And, you know, I mentioned was it the Ohtani game? I think it was, where he got the first 2 hitters in the top of the first inning the other day in game 4 on like 5 pitches. But the Blue Jays worked him and worked him and worked him and got him up to 20.
Right.
Now, he still pitched into the 7th inning, and good for him. But I'm just saying, you know, it's very rare to see a team be able to do that, to have 2 quick outs like that, and all of a sudden you hung 20 on the pitcher in the first inning. So Trey Yasevich, you know, Mike Not Maddox 95. Yasevich is, savage. He is unbelievable. And we had the picture the other night or the other day of Vlad hitting the home run off Ohtani, and he, you know, they're both looking out there watching the ball go out of the stadium, and you know the old thing, hang it in the Louvre. Here's another one, Yasevich against Ohtani. Look, Trey's just walking off the field like Ohtani hasn't obviously even completed the swing yet. But man, Yasevich put him like in a corkscrew. Look at that.
Yeah.
You don't see. I mean, it looks like, who knows? It looks like Ohtani missed badly,
right?
Off balance. You don't see him swing like that.
Yeah, it's you know, when I think of his performance, naturally I go back to Roy Halladay, who I went to high school with, and you know, Roy came up and like his first start, like 8 2/3 hitless.
Yeah.
You know, he's on fire. He's like, oh man, this is the future. The next year, they sent him to low A because he was all over the place, and they had to rebuild his mechanics and rebuild his confidence. Now, eventually, he became, you know, a Hall of Fame player and, you know, one of the best pitchers of his generation. So you hope that Yasevich, who started the year in A-ball, and has just been a Evan Carter-like rise here. You hope that next year everything goes well for him, and that this is the start of something. But also recognize he will still be a rookie next year, and that he's going to have growing pains. But man, it looks like they have a really good pitcher on their hands.
They have an unbelievable, at least, performer right now. No doubt about that. He had 23 swing and misses, 12 punch outs last night. He struck out all 9 in the starting lineup, right? And there have only been 2 pitchers previously to do that in a World Series game. Randy Johnson in Game 2 of 01 and Bob Gibson in Game 1 of the 68 World Series. So you're joining a pretty good a pretty good group of a couple of guys there with striking out everybody in the lineup. And again, when you have 12 punchies, you're probably going to have a chance to get each and every one of them.
Yeah, and rarely in those scenarios is it like, oh, you joined some bum and another bum. Yeah, it's always like Bob Gibson and Sandy Koufax. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty special stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And those 23 swing and miss, by the way, were the most in a World Series game since they started tracking that. That's only since 2008. But it's the most.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's still pretty impressive that it's the most since then. So a couple more things about the series to get to, and managerial talk next in the cleanup segment. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
All right. We've had new sponsors today, and now we want to have new diehards. Mm-hmm. So if you're watching us for the first time and you're like, what the heck is DLS? And how do I read their stuff? This is the best way to do it. You become a diehard. $79.99 a year, $6.50 a month. You get a free shirt, 20% off of all our events and all of our merchandise. But the most important thing is you get to read all of the stuff that we write that goes behind our paywall. We're about to, the season could be over Friday, John.
Right.
And at that last out, as soon as that last out is made, everybody who is eligible for free agency becomes a free agent. And then you have 5 days until you can open the negotiations. It's about to get busy in baseball.
Yes, it is.
Is what we're saying. So become a diehard. Make sure you can read all of our Rangers coverage. And, the Mavs and the Stars and the Cowboys too.
Yep, absolutely true. And if you become a diehard, you get a free shirt, which is kind of a cool little bonus. As we mentioned earlier, Qualis Roofing will give you a free shirt if you call them out for an estimate too. Or you can go to store.allcitynetwork.com and buy one of these shirts, which is not, they're really not a bad price. $34.99 for the shirts. They're fantastic. They're high quality. Jeff and I each own north of 15. I don't have any of the sweatshirts yet, but Jeff's got those. There's also the caps. Jeff's got the cap on today. And there's flags and there's mugs. There's so much for you to be able to buy. And the holidays are nigh upon us here as once Halloween is over, like people seem to just skip past Thanksgiving anymore, man. It's just a full court press to Christmas starting November 1st. So get out there, get on that store.allcitynetwork.com website and get some of those Christmas gifts purchased early and support DLLS at the same time. Okay, a couple of things to get to from the series yet. First of all, I love that that somebody is taking advantage of this thing. Now, I just learned about this the other day, but someone said, so the Dodgers, having lost Game 5, now have to win 6-7.
Oh boy,
6-7. You there? 6-7. Yeah. See what I did there?
You're hip, John.
I only learned about it I dropped that on my my young married couple kids yesterday. They didn't know 6-7. Oh. I knew 6-7 because I hang around with the right people. So yeah, they got to win 6-7. 6 or 7 for the Blue Jays.
Well, they got to win 6 first. Or the Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers have to win 6-7.
Right.
But the Blue Jays only have to win one of those. So, and then the other one I loved, it was the last game of the career, the wonderful, storied, unbelievable, legendary Hall of Fame career of a North Texan named Clayton Kershaw at the Dodger Stadium last night. And he went around after the game. It was so cool on the field with his kids and his wife and paid tribute to the crowd. But this is the kind of stuff I love. And we've pointed one of these out before fairly recently.
It was Vlad Jr.
Was that what it was? Yeah, Vlad was. Oh, yeah, he was having fun with them, spraying them with the hose and stuff. And I just love when the guys who work so hard. And in Los Angeles, I know the weather's not bad and they're not doing a lot of, tarping and, rain delays. But with that natural grass, those guys work even longer hours than the guys with the turf do. I mean, grounds crew people are there in the morning and they're there until the end of the game. And Clayton, took a picture with them. And I promise you, he'll sign. Every one of them will get that picture and he'll sign every one.
Look at T.O. gifting supporters club memberships to folks.
You, T.O.
Thank you, Mr. T.O.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty neat, and it's a rare thing these days when you see a guy spend his whole career with one team. And when you look at the back of his baseball card next year, I guess, if he has one, or in future years, it's just going to say LAD all the way down. Yep. And that's pretty cool. And to your point, T.O., he is a good dude. He's from our area. He helps out with Mercy Street over there where the is it the RBI field is over there. And he's in the right place. He's a family guy. So I think our community has benefited from him previously and will continue to do so.
Yeah, in fact, probably more so once that he's basically going to be a year-round resident of the Metroplex, pretty much starting Monday, probably at the latest. So they were talking in the chat earlier about why were there all those announcements yesterday about managers. Thought it was supposed to be an off day. I really think all of the announcements that we got came officially today. Like it was leaked yesterday.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody made the official announcement until today. But the Twins have made it official. They've hired Derek Shelton to be their new manager.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And his last job before becoming the Pirates manager, Twins batting coach.
Right.
So, that makes some sense there. He's a beloved guy who interviewed with the Rangers with the job that eventually went to Chris Woodward.
Mm-hmm.
He just seems like a good guy.
He does.
And it's hard to manage in Pittsburgh these days. And then the Nationals it's leaked this morning that they're on the verge of hiring a 33-year-old.
Yeah, he'll be the youngest manager since 1972. Blake Butera comes to the Washington Nationals through the Rays organization, that hotbed of producing some really great talent both as coaches and as players. But anyway, the youngest since 1972. Jeff, do you remember I'm sure you remember the start of the esteemed career of Frank Kwilicki.
Oh boy, do I ever.
Frank I'm like, who was that young in 72? I looked. It's Frank Kwilicki. I'd never heard of him. I missed. I think he was with the Twins, and I missed his entire tenure apparently as a manager in Major League Baseball.
Well, you're not the only one.
Thank you, Frank Kwilicki. Some of the older people in the chat may remember him. I sure don't. But yeah, the Rays have produced this Blake Butera, who started, Jeff, his managerial career. He started managing at 25.
Jeez.
So he's got 8 years of managerial. Now, obviously, just coming up through the minors.
Sure.
8 years of and I shouldn't say he's got 8 years of managerial experiences because the last few years have been at the big league level as an assistant coach with the Rays.
Okay, well, I mean, that's probably getting more there than you would as the manager of the Durham Bulls.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, and the Padres, it seems, Jeff, have 3. They've narrowed it down to 3 finalists, and they are Albert Pujols, whoever their pitching coach is. I missed his name. I can't, but he's been there for a long time and well thought of and deserve a good chance. And Nick Hundley.
Yeah, I saw that, and that one makes more sense for Nick in that he
turned down the Giants.
He lives in San Diego. So that's that one might have something there. It just seems like he wants to manage. I wonder if he doesn't get the job, I wonder if then he gets a spot like on the Rangers coaching staff, which we still haven't heard of.
No, and that's the thing is, there is a catching coordinator position open, and Nick, of course, would be probably good at that. However, if you're being considered as a manager and turning down managerial jobs, do you take
that's a good point too.
A job as an assistant coach? I'm not sure you do. And he did a good job just kind of filling in on the Ranger Sports Network this year. And I don't know if he'd be interested in doing that again, but it kept him in the game and kept him around. And he's, ostensibly he turned down that job in San Francisco for family, right? Family concerns, young family, all that kind of stuff. But the truth is, the family consideration, I mean, obviously, I guess you never have a home game if you live in San Diego and your family's and you work in San Francisco, right? And so you'd have home games, but you know how it goes. Those managers are gone so much of the day, every day, that I'm not sure if you're really doing it for family. I'm not sure that's being a manager is the thing. And Michael Young has been true to that, right?
Right.
Michael Young could have been a manager many times over by now.
I mean, when they were thinking about changing out hitting coaches, they thought of Michael Young.
Yep.
And the need to get back to the older school way of baseball. He really has no interest. His oldest son, I think, is now sophomore or junior in high school.
Okay.
And he might have 2 in high school now. Time flies.
Amazing.
Yeah, but in any event, he doesn't want to manage, but he could.
Yeah.
He's that well thought of.
Yeah. And the Braves apparently are waiting for somebody in the Dodgers organization. So that's why we've seen nothing on the Braves. They pretty much have theirs narrowed down to somebody in the Dodgers organization. So, that's what's happening with all of these things, as Jeff's with all these managerial jobs. And again, I'm not even sure Washington's been made official yet. It may have been, but the Twins waited, I think, till this morning to make it official, which is an off day, technically, to kind of abide by the rule, an unwritten rule, I think, of the commissioner. But
and I think they could announce it. Now that it's out there, they could send out a tweet or a press release. But I don't think they'd be introducing him until next week.
Yeah. Okay. So, and you're right. There was a 9.5-hour interview all about Sports Zone. A 9.5-hour interview between AJ Preller and the other powers that be in San Diego and Albert Pujols. So when you think, Jeff, of a 9.5-hour interview, you feel like, they've got to have a pretty good chance at that job.
That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It really is.
That's all 3 of them. So you'd think so, but I don't know. I don't know if we've gotten the hours on these other meetings.
Right.
But I'd probably just want to talk to Albert Pujols.
I would too.
Have him tell me stories.
Yeah, come on, talk to me. Talk to me, man. And I heard Lance Lynn was on MLB Network again today, and he was talking about, obviously, he crossed paths with Albert, of course, in St. Louis, and what a great manager Lance thought that Albert Pujols would be. So again, nothing yet on the Rangers situation. I don't think that they are waiting on Hundley, all about Sports Zone, and I don't think they're waiting on anybody who's still coaching. And I don't have many answers.
But I don't. Yeah, we don't know that for sure. But you look at these staffs, and it's like, well, who would they hire, and would it be an upgrade? Unless they want to take the bullpen coach, and make him the pitching coach, or an example like that's just our assistant hitting coach into the hitting coach. That's just an example. So anyway, I guess we'll find out next week. Hopefully next week.
Yeah, I think it'll be next week. And I agree with you, Leon. I wish we could have had 9.5 hours to talk with Fergie Jenkins, too. I hope all of you got a chance to see that. But it's out there. If you didn't get a chance to see the half hour that we spent with Fergie yesterday, you need to check out yesterday's edition because it was super fun. He's just any of these guys, but Fergie's he's got we didn't even get into the Harlem Globetrotters with him. Fergie played for the Globetrotters in the offseason. So great athlete, great guy, and we really had fun chatting with Fergie yesterday. We'll be back here tomorrow for another show, and by then we might have at least some news about this Rangers coaching staff, but who knows? I mean, we may not. Like Jeff said, it may be all the way to next week before we get anything definitive about what the Rangers plan to do. That the news will start fast and furious next week because really starting, I guess, Sunday at the latest, the World Series is over. So that's when it starts going crazy. And we'll be here for every bit of it each and every day on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.